Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about cotton crop, one of the most important crops. Cotton is a commercial crop. Here we can see that it is one of the most important fiber and cash crop of India. It plays a dominant role in industrial and agricultural economy of our country. Main use of this cotton is it provides the basic raw material that is called as cotton fiber. It is mainly used in textile industry, and in our country it provides direct livelihood to 6 million farmers, and about 40 to 50 million people they are employed in cotton trade and its processing. And major cotton growing states are Maharashtra, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal and Tripura. There are four cultivated species of cotton. First one is Gossypium arboreum and Gossypium herbaceum. These both are native to old world. They are known as Asiatic cotton because they are generally grown in Asia, and they are diploid. Their chromosome number is 2n equal to 26. And next to Gossypium hirsutum and Gossypium barbens, both are referred as New World cotton. And these two are tetraploid species. Chromosome number equal to 2n equal to 52. And this Gossypium hirsutum, it is a predominant species. It alone occupies around 90% of global production. And only in India, all these four species, Gossypium arboreum, herbaceum, hirsutum, and barbens, all these are cultivated in India, but majorly Gossypium hirsutum is cultivated. You heard of this one, BD cotton. Generally, around in our country, 95% of farmers are cultivating this BD cotton only, because cotton, normal cotton, it is generally susceptible to bollworms, lepidoptera and pests. That's why the scientists have developed BD cotton, which is tolerant to this bollworms. Here in this BD cotton protein, insecticidal protein Pre1AC, it is inserted from bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis or Kustaki. This Monsanto company developed and commercialized this BD cotton in the year 1996. This BD cotton, it expresses Pre1AC gene. That's why it is tolerant to this bollworms. And genetically modified cotton, it is the first transgenic non-food crop. It has provided a specific, safe, and effective tool for the control of Lepidoptera pests. BT cotton, it was first approved for field trials in the year 1993, and for commercial use, it was approved in the year 1995. In India, it was introduced in the year 2002. It was introduced by joint venture between Monsanto company and Mahiko company. Now India is the largest cultivator of BT cotton crop, and in India, area of BT cotton is 11.7 million hectares, followed by US, in which area is 4 million hectares, followed by China and Pakistan. In USA, 96% of cotton grown is BT cotton. In India, it is 95%. Here we can see the some of advantages of BT cotton. First, mainly it was developed to show tolerance to American spotted and pink bollworms. These insects, they belong to Lepidoptera. They are very sensitive to crystalline endotoxic protein. It is produced by that Bacillus thuringiensis, and it was inserted from that bacterium into this cotton. That's why these bollworms, they are very sensitive to this protein produced by BT cotton crop. That's why it protects the cotton from bollworms. If we are cultivating the BT cotton, generally there will be a reduction in insecticidal use because there is a less attack of bollworms, and because of less use of these insecticides, there will be reduction in cost of cultivation also. The cost main input is seed for BT cotton. It is costly. 3 kgs of BT cotton, it costs around 8,000 rupees. Normally for other crops 1 kg varies from 100 rupees to 200 or 300 only, but BT cotton seed is very costly. But if we grow BT cotton, we can reduce the use of insecticides and we can reduce the cost of cultivation also. And if we reduce this insecticide use, it will be beneficial to environment also, because excessive use of insecticides, it is harmful to the human beings, harmful to the soil, and harmful to the environment also. Roundup ready cotton, it is also genetically modified like bt cotton. In this one, its DNA is altered to allow to withstand the herbicide glyphosate. Glyphosate, non-selective systemic herbicide, means it kills all type of crops, weeds, grasses, broadleaf weeds. It won't leave anything. But this cotton, scientists have developed Roundup ready cotton, which is tolerant to this glyphosate. So even if we apply glyphosate in the cotton field, this glyphosate, it cannot kill the cotton crop. It only kills the weeds. That's why it is also known as glyphosate tolerant cotton. While planting Roundup ready cotton, this one, farmer can spray the entire crop with glyphosate, but it only kills the weeds and it leaves the cotton. It is selective to this cotton crop. But only concern is it leads to heavy usages of glyphosate, which is harmful to the soil and the environment. It also increases the cost of cultivation also. Sometimes if you keep on applying glyphosate, it may lead to development of super weeds. Super weeds means weed resistance. Sometimes some kinds of weeds, they show resistance to herbicide also. For example, in wheat, major weed is Phalaris minor. It has started showing resistance to this isoproterenol. Now, even if we apply isoproterenol also, it is not killing the Phalaris minor because of that resistance. This continuous use of one herbicide or herbicides with same mode of action, it leads to development of this herbicide resistance. And some weeds they call as super weeds because they will exhibit resistance, and no herbicide can kill those type of weeds. That's why continuous use of this Roundup, it may leads to the development of super weeds, which is not good sign. In cotton, it is a semi-xerophyte. It is mainly grown in tropical and subtropical conditions. Tropical means high temperature crop. A minimum of 15 degrees centigrade, it is required for better germination. This is not optimum temperature. Minimum temperature of 15 degrees centigrade is required. If temperature is below the 15 degrees centigrade at the time of germination, it won't germinate. And optimum temperature for vegetative growth is 21 to 27 degrees centigrade, and it can tolerate temperature up to the extent of 43 degrees centigrade. But temperature below the 21 degrees centigrade, it is detrimental. That means it is harmful to the crop. So optimum temperature during vegetative growth should be 21 to 27 degrees centigrade. Warm days with cool nights with large diurnal variations during the period of fruiting, they are conducive for good boll and fibre development. Conducive means if these conditions are present, there will be good fibre and ball development in cotton crop. So in this crop production, one of the important thing is you should read about optimum temperatures thoroughly. For every crop and for every growth stage, there will be some kind of optimum temperature, and you should buy her that one for competitive exams. Soil requirement. Cotton is grown on a variety of soils, ranging from deep alluvial soils in the North India to black soils in the central region and black and red soils in the southern zone. It can be grown in all kinds of soils, almost all kinds of soils. It is semi-tolerant to salinity. That means to a certain extent it can tolerate salinity, but if there is excess salinity, that yield will be affected. But it is sensitive to waterlogging. Waterlogging means saturated conditions. If all macro and micropores of soil are filled with water, that is called saturation. And if waterlogging is present, that growth will be affected. So that's why, well, this cotton, it prefers well drained soils. We should remove this saturated water. crop season, mainly cotton is grown as kharif crop, kharif in our country. In North India, in some areas, they will generally go for early sowing. That means in the month of April and May. But in South India, the sowing of cotton it mainly depends upon monsoon and rainfall. Just after immediate onset of main rainfall or monsoon, farmers will go for cultivation of cotton crop. In this table, we can see the seed rate and spacing of different species. First one is Gossypium hirsutum. If it is grown under irrigated conditions, seed rate is 20 to 22 kg per hectare, and spacing is either 75 into 15 centimeter or 75 into 30 centimeter. If it is grown under rain-fed conditions, seed rate is around 18 to 20 kg per hectare, and spacing is 16 to 30 centimeters. For Gossypium arboreum, which is growing under irrigated conditions, seed rate is little bit less compared to Gossypium hirsutum, that is 10 to 12 kg per hectare, and spacing is 16 to 30 centimeters. Gossypium herbaceum, it is grown under rain-fed conditions. Seed rate is 12 to 15 kg per hectare, and spacing is either 45 to 30 centimeter or 16 to 30 centimeters. And Gossypium barbadense, it is generally grown under irrigated conditions. Seed rate is around 8 to 10 kg per hectare or 12 to 15 kg per hectare in some areas, and spacing is either 19 to 30 centimeter or 75 to 30 centimeter. Hybrids, if they are growing under irrigated conditions, seed rate is around 2 to 3 kg per hectare. General spacing followed by farmers is 19 to 60 centimeters. In some areas, 120 to 60 centimeters. For BT cotton, it is generally grown under irrigated conditions because water is must and should. Spacing is 19 to 60 centimeter or 120 to 60 centimeters. Nowadays, almost all farmers are cultivating this BT cotton only with the seed rate of 1.5 to 2 kg per hectare and spacing of 19 to 60 centimeters. This seed rate and spacing also they are very important. And seed rate of this BT cotton, it was asked in competitive exams many times. That is 1.5 kg per hectare. Method of sowing. This cotton it is sown using tractor or bullock drawn seed drill or by dibbling. Hand dibbling of seeds is recommended because the seed is very costly. We should not waste the cost. At the same time, we should not use more seed. If we go for this hand dibbling, it ensures proper plant stand and uniform geometry, and it also saves the seed rate. This is generally followed in BT cotton. It can be cultivated through ridge and furrow system also, and it can be sown on ridges so that on furrows we can conserve the water. It reduces the soil erosion and improves the yield also. Growth stages, there are mainly five growth stages for the cotton crop, that are germination and emergence, seedling establishment, leaf area and canopy development, flowering and ball development, and maturation. These transitions between these stages are not sharp and clear. That means we cannot differentiate this growth stage exactly. Means at the particular time this growth stage will end and next growth stage will start. We cannot say these transitions in this cotton crop. In this image, we can see the different kinds of growth stages. First day, it is cotton seed is planted. At 5 to 10 days time, the seedlings will emerge from the soil. At 40 to 50 days after sowing, these flower buds will form. And 70 to 80 days, you can see the crop flowering. 100 to 105 days, these cotton bolls they begin to fill. At 150 to 160 days, these bolls are fully open. They are ready for picking. Picking is nothing but harvesting. This harvesting in cotton it is called as picking. And cotton is an indeterminate crop. That means it needs 3 to 4 harvestings, 3 to 4 pickings. At 170 days after picking, it should be mulched back into the soil and it is ready for the next crop. Here we can see that in cotton two types of branching are there. In every indeterminate crop, cotton, red gram, two types of branching will be present. First one is monopodial and sympodial. Monopodia means vegetative branches, sympodial means fruiting branches. Vegetative branches like main stem, it is referred as monopodia because it is having only one meristem. Because vegetative branches have only one meristem, they grow straight and erect. These from these vegetative branches, fruiting branches also will develop. These fruiting branches are called as symphodia. This it is called as symphodia mainly because this fruiting branch it contains multiple meristems. First monopodia will form. From monopodia, these fruiting branches will develop that are called as symphodia. Water management. Cotton generally requires 700 to 1200 millimeter of water. During vegetative stage, first 60 to 70 days after sowing, it requires less water only. Water requirement is very low. But during flowering and ball development, from 70 to around 100 days of after sowing, it requires optimum amount of moisture. If moisture stress is present at that stage, that yield will be impacted and it will be reduced severely. Generally, farmers they will irrigate the cotton through flood irrigation, and furrow or alternate furrow method it is more effective. It saves the water. Here we can see that furrow irrigation. These are furrows, and on the ridges this cotton is being grown. At the time of sowing, adequate soil moisture should be present, otherwise germination will be affected. And pre-sowing irrigation is necessary if stored soil moisture is not adequate. Irrigation at 60% DASM, it is adequate during vegetative period. DASM means depletion of available soil moisture. Cotton it is generally irrigated at 60% depletion of available soil moisture. Depletion of available soil moisture means first we have to measure how much soil moisture is present, how much it is getting depleted. Based on that, we can go for irrigation of the crop. It is used in irrigation scheduling. For crops which requires more water, they are generally irrigated at 25% depletion of available soil moisture. For crops which requires less amount of water, we can irrigate at 50% depletion of available soil moisture or 60% DASM. At flowering, irrigation may be scheduled at 75% depletion of available soil moisture because if we go for immediate irrigation or more amount of moisture is present, it helps in developing vegetative parts. So reproductive parts like flowering will be reduced, ball development will be reduced, and plant will utilize that moisture for development of branches only. So we can go for a little bit late irrigation so that vegetative growth will be reduced because as a indeterminate crop, this vegetative growth continues to around 100 or 120 days. Like generally in cereals, they are determinate crops. At 60 or 70 days after sowing, that vegetative growth will be stopped. After that, this reproductive growth will start. But in the indeterminate plants, both vegetative and reproductive growth they will go parallelly. Both will happen simultaneously. That's why if more amount of moisture is present, this crop it will help utilize that moisture for vegetative growth only. But we want more flowers and more balls because it is a commercial crop. So that irrigation may be scheduled at 75% depletion of available soil moisture. But however, too late irrigation, that means delayed irrigation, it leads to considerable flower and ball shedding. And before final harvesting, irrigation should be terminated 4 to 5 weeks before final harvesting. 1 month before final harvesting, we should stop giving irrigations to the cotton crop. Even if we at harvesting stage, if we give irrigation, it will postpone the harvesting. It will increase the crop duration. That's why we should terminate 4 to 5 weeks. That means 1 month before final harvesting. Here, two types of irrigations are there. Both are used in water deficient areas. Skip furrow irrigation and alternate furrow irrigation. Skip furrow irrigation, it is mainly suited to heavy soils like clay and loam soils. Skip furrow means, here we can see that this is a cotton crop. In this one, these furrows they are removed and they are made to form these beds. White beds are present between two rows. On these white beds, pulse crop which requires less amount of moisture, it can be grown. Only here we are irrigating the cotton crop. In between these two rows, we can grow the pulse crop on this bed. This is called a skip furrow irrigation. Water saving is 50% in this skip furrow irrigation. Alternate furrows they will be skipped in this kind of irrigation, and they may be converted to ridges having a wide bed formation. But in alternate furrow irrigation, suppose here furrows are present, only this furrow is irrigated and this is skipped, and again this furrow is irrigated. That means alternate furrows are irrigated. That is called as alternate furrow irrigation. During one run, any one run of irrigation, particular set of alternate furrows are irrigated. During the next run, the leftover furrows will be irrigated. It is also suited to heavy soils like clay and loam. It is mainly used in water deficit areas. It saves so much amount of water. Here we can see acid delinting of seeds. It is one of the important operation in the cotton crop. For acid delinting, concentrated sulfuric acid is used. Delinting means on the cotton seed, some kind of fuzzy will be present. Fuzzy will be present. If it is present, it will interfere in the sowing operation or germination, and it may act as a host for so many pathogens, and it causes disease. So we should remove that fuzz. For that one, we can use the delinting. First, choose plastic bucket for acid delinting of seeds, and per 1 kg of seed, add 100 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid. Stir that bucket with wooden stick for 2 to 3 minutes, so that fuzz will be germinated. Fuzz will be digested in the concentrated sulfuric acid, and seed coat it attains dark brown color or coffee color. After that, add water to that container and drain the acid water, and wash that bucket 4 to 5 times to remove any trace of acid. And while doing this operation, if any ill-filled seeds or damaged seeds are present, they just flow on the water. Just remove all those kind of seeds and only use healthy and good seeds, and drain the water completely and dry the delinted seeds in a shade. If we shade these delinted seeds in the sunlight, it may affect the quality and it may affect the germination of cotton crop. There are many benefits for acid delinting. First one is it eliminates some externally seed-borne pathogenic organisms. And pink bollworm, it lays eggs on this fuzz only. So if we digest the fuzz or remove the fuzz, we can kill the egg, larva and pupa of pink bollworm. It helps to remove the immature, ill-filled, cut and damaged seeds, and makes seed dressing more effective and easy. If that fuzz is present, it interferes with the seed dressing operation, and it facilitates easy sowing and good germination. Fertilizer management. For BT cotton, around 150 kg of nitrogen, 60 kg of phosphorus and 60 kg of potassium is required per hectare. For normal rainfed cotton, that recommendation is around 80 kg of nitrogen, 40 kg of phosphorus and 40 kg of potassium. This full dose of phosphorus and potassium, they should be applied at the time of sowing. But nitrogen, it can be applied in 3 splits. First one is at sowing, second one is at squaring. Squaring means initiation of flowers, and third one during peak flowering stage. And zinc sulfate, if soils are deficient in zinc sulfate at the rate of 25 kg per hectare, it is recommended. Weed management, generally pendimethalin is applied as a pre-emergence herbicides. It is applied 3 days after sowing. While applying these herbicides, sufficient moisture should be present in the soil, because if moisture is present, this herbicide it can move in the soil and it can kill the seeds, weeds. And one hand weeding at 45 days, it will keep the weed free environment up to 60 days after sowing. If herbicide application is not possible, hand weeding should be done at between 80 to 20 days after sowing. Here we can see some of the common herbicides applied in the cotton crop. Trifluralin and fluchloralin, both are pre-plant incorporated herbicides. They are generally used for controlling grasses. And pre-emergence herbicides like diurnal, it is the most commonly used herbicide in the wheat cotton crop. Diurnal, it controls both grasses and broadleaf weeds. And metolachlor, it also controls both grasses and broadleaf weeds. And other herbicides like estachlor, pendimethalin, oxyfluorphine, thiazapyr, butachlor, all these herbicides, they are applied as a pre-emergence herbicides in the cotton crop. If cotton is being grown with black gram as an intercrop, oxidization it can be used, because these herbicides, they may affect the black gram crop. That's why if black gram is cultivated with cotton crop, oxidization should be used. Here we can see post-emergence herbicides like glufosinate ammonium. It kills both grasses and broadleaf weeds. And glyphosate, it kills all type of weeds, even it kills crop also. That's why we will go for directed spraying. That means we apply only on wheat rows. And pyrethiobat, it controls broadleaf weeds. Prosopibutyl, it controls grossleaf weeds. So you remember herbicides which are having FOP, Frosifop, Visualoflop, all these FOP herbicides, they controls the grass weeds effectively, and they doesn't affect the broadleaf weeds. And if high amount of deep rooted perennial weeds are present, we can go for summer ploughing to reduce perennial weeds. Harvesting. Harvesting, it is generally done at frequent intervals. That interval should be less than 7 days. Harvest in the morning times like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock when there is sufficient moisture, because at afternoon time there will be so much intensive sunlight and it dries the leaves. These dry leaves, they will be attached to kapas and lower the market value. That's why it should be harvested at morning hours when there is sufficient moisture. Pick kapas from well burst balls only. If anything is attached to kapas, just remove those earth materials. After kapas is picked, sort out good puffy ones and keep separately. Grading should be done. Keep stained, discolored or insect attacked kapas separately, because grading in cotton is very important. Post harvest operations. Immediately after harvesting, dry that kapas in the shade. It should not be shade in direct sunlight, because fiber strength and luster it will be lost. And grading should be done like good quality one, second quality one. Spread a thin layer of dry sand on the ground and keep the kapas over it for shading. Here we can see that fiber, it is divided into 6 types based on fiber length. It is also very important for exam point of view. 6 types of fiber. First one is short staple one. It is length is less than 19.5 millimeters, and if length is 20 to 21.5 millimeters, that is medium. And medium length long fiber, length is 22 to 24.0 millimeters, and long stable fiber, length is 24.5 to 26.5, and superior one 27 to 29.5, and extra long one, it is more than 30 millimeters. You remember all these types and their lengths also, they might ask in the exam. And fiber strength, it is measured by steelometer. Based on this one, it is divided into 5 types. Very strong one, that index is more than 95. Strong one, index is 86 to 95 kg per centimeter square. And for average one, 76 to 85. And for weight, fair one, 66 to 75. And for weak, this fiber strength is less than 66 kg per centimeter square. And one more thing is there, this fiber will have some amount of color also. That color, it is measured using Nickerson Hunter calorimeter. This color, fiber length, fiber strength, micron air value. All these are very important parameters for defining this cotton quality. Even this micron air, it measures the airflow through that fiber. It measures the strength and maturity of this fiber. So if micron air value is less, that means cotton is good quality. If micron air value is more, that means cotton is not that much good quality. All this micron air value, fiber strength, fiber length, and color, fiber maturity, they are used in defining this cotton quality crop. They are very important from this exam point of view. Thank you.